not Gutfeld. What do you mean, chat? He's getting to the bottom of why Tim Walz is the real weird one.
Obama.
Actually, I'm taking back my advice to Republicans. Keep defending yourselves. It's working, guys. It's gonna work.
Hey, so you know what that means. Let's welcome tonight's guest. She's so pure, Hunter Biden tried to snort her. Host of Fox News Sunday, Shannon Breen.
Creepy. Jump scare. Stickbug censored it.
He's as cheerful as an orphan with tuberculosis. Comedian and founder of Western Razor Company, Kevin Angelo.
Everyone's here to just plug some stupid shit, or they're like dumbass bug.
As a former Miss Citrus, everything she touches is freshly squeezed. Host of the Morgan Ortega Show on Sirius FM, Morgan Ortega. And he can see your house from up there. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA World Champion,
Greg is the least funny guy. He's the least funny guy in the world, I think.
Right. Yeah. You know, before we get to some news stories, let's do this. Yeah.
Greg's leftovers.
Yeah, it's leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week, and that's...
I read the jokes we didn't use this week. Maybe just don't use them.
As always, it's my first time reading them. So if they suck, we'll tie Joe Mackey to the slender trunk of a sapling, and then as it slowly grows to a large, tall tree, he hangs himself.
Wow, that was...
It'll take 80, 90 years, but so worth it. So the Iraqi parliament may lower the legal marriage age for girls to 9 years old. So guess who's now condo hunting in Baghdad? In a resurfaced interview from 2020, Vice President Harris was asked...
Hang on. Fox News, by the way. Child marriage is more common in the southern states. Oklahoma, Texas is actually the #1. Or I'm sorry, number 2. West Virginia is #1. Joe Biden's favorite state. 5.8 in Oklahoma, 5.9 in Nevada, God. 5.6 in Arkansas, 5.5 in Tennessee, 5.4 in North Carolina. And that's per 1,000. That's not even per 100,000. That's nuts. It's gross. But, you know, Iraq is, crazy. I'm not even going to say what they're actually implying. It's just remember this whenever Republicans or even liberals, really, talk about how Muslims like to marry children. So do Texans, bro. You think it's all the Muslims in Texas that are doing that? And this is 15 to 17. I don't know why they stopped it at 15, because there are plenty of states with no minimum age. In Texas, it's 15. California, no minimum age. Arizona, no minimum age. Or I'm sorry, is that New Mexico or Arizona? I always get them confused. It's New Mexico. Oklahoma. Just the, 2 states bordering the ruralist parts of Texas. The highest state, dude. And just it happens to be that these 2 have no age minimum. Just a simple hop and skip. I'm Texas. It's gross. The South is gross.
Asked who her favorite rapper was.
And it's not just the South either. It's like American. It's an extremely American thing. Early America was nasty with that shit. No, the South isn't even the problem in this circumstance. It's disproportionate in the South, but I mean, it's disproportionate in California too. And also West Virginia ain't the South. I mean, if you ask people. But you know what I mean. Like, it's a very American problem. Why is pedophilia so prevalent in the world? History. European history. American history. It's gross.
Alive. And she said Tupac, who's dead.
Tupac?
And when asked who her favorite president was, she said Joe Biden, who's...
Tupac.
As for Kamala avoiding questions from the press, she says she wants to get to an interview scheduled before the end of the month. She'd do it sooner, but she needs to learn words.
What is Trump doing, man? He's on Aiden Ross's stream and doing safe rallies for his own comfort in Montana. Fox News is hammering home nonstop this narrative, like, Kamala's not doing an interview. Kamala's not talking to the press. Kamala's not doing an interview. And it's like, dude, Trump isn't doing anything. At least she's campaigning.
Nancy Pelosi admits they forced President Biden to drop out of the race, not because he was unfit for office, but because he would lose to Trump. So she stabbed Biden in the...
His makeup is crazy, dude. It does not match his hand. And it, like, ends so harshly. It looks like he's wearing a mask.
back, which is weird because she usually bites people in the neck. Olympic swimmers are getting sick from having to swim in the Seine River. You could tell something was wrong because they went in looking like this, and they came out looking like this.
Seine River?
All right. President Biden openly expressed confusion as he greeted the World Series.
This picture's crazy. Whoa. Why does Joe Biden look so small? He looks so whoa. He's so This is just as like bizarre as the Jimmy Carter picture. Like the guys in the back look gigantic. Is this with a basketball team? Like what? The guys in the back look gigantic. They're fanned in like a tribunal. Joe Biden is incognizant. You don't know where he is. The two guys next to him are also giants. There's too many people in this picture. There's too many. Just too many.
Series winning Texas Rangers at the White House. Evidently, he kept asking.
Oh, maybe he is photoshopped into this picture. That would make a lot of sense. Maybe Greg Gutfeld put him into this picture.
Where is Chuck Norris? In Olympic women's boxing, XY chromosomed boxers Amani Khalif and Lin Yuting advanced to their weight class finals. I think I speak for everyone when I say,
God, he
may the
sucks.
best man win.
I think I speak for everyone when I'm a disgusting pig. Yeah, man. Normal guys, by the way, they're so normal. They're so normal. They're looking at women's boxers that have trained their entire lives. Gold medal winning now, in the case of the girl on the left. Iman Khalif. Also from a country where it's illegal to be trans. So how, Greg Gutfeld, how? Oh no, it's just a joke though. But it's just a joke. I'm glad we're circling back completely into like 2007 style, you know, it just boils down to misogyny. It's just like these women are too manly. Women athletes are manly. Cool, man. No, that's good. Tell Donald Trump to say that. It'll make him look awesome.
In a Comics for Kamala event, Ben Stiller said, quote, like every white Jewish guy, I wish I was black. Well, there's always a chance he could become black later in life, said one woman.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's just mimicking what Trump said. He's just parroting Trump's. Oh my God. She became a black person. Yeah, you're going with that? Cool. Why does bro look like a troll? He really does, man. He's rough. He's looking
Joy
rough.
Reid says Democrat Mark Kelly would have been a better pick for Kamala's VP because
I like how they always have to choose these stupid frames. It's like, gotcha, you made a silly face. It's like, bro, Gutfeld is literally a living nightmare. Like, bro looks like he has seen a ghost. Like, what are we doing? Every frame of him looks ridiculous. There's no joke otherwise, yeah.
Quote, super white, like a mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread. That must be why she's copying his hairstyle.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. This is just a famous case of conservatives being like, I can't tell the difference between two different things. Many such cases. Conservatives holding up two completely different, fundamentally different things and being like, it looks the same to me. She literally has hair. She has hair that is bleached. Hair that she has consciously like made a choice to change the color of. Hair that is trimmed with a certain style. Doesn't work, man. If she actually had shaved her head, you'd have like a mean joke. And even still, making the choice to shave her head, which she hasn't done here, is different than this, which is a consequence of genes and nature. He's returning to monkey. Hairless monkey.
The British government is now threatening to arrest Twitter users, and they warned, think before you post. Or what, asked one man.
No! One man is that one man? Stick bug. Did you guys guess that it was gonna be fucking George Washington? She George my Washington.
Little
George
historical
Washington.
humor there.
I see him, I clap.
Finally, massive amounts of flooding is set to hit New York City this weekend as Hurricane Debbie approaches. And to save stranded New Yorkers, Mayor Adams will implement 5 massive flotation devices. Can't go wrong. All right.
So lazy.
So, if you ever want to know what the Dems are up to, just listen to what they accuse you of doing.
It's just it's his classic thing. He loves just hammering home. The ladies on The View are bad. They're stupid and ugly. It's the worst, dude. It's the worst. Whatever, man. Sure. Joy Behar. This guy's got nothing to say.
It was first uttered by a guy named Tim Walz, directed at another guy called J.D. Vance. But
Yeah,
turns
there's
out
one normal guy here, and it's definitely the one wearing eyeliner, says Greg Gutfeld, who looks like an actual Harry Potter house elf right now. He looks like Dobby.
Oh, Tim Walz is weird.
This guy thinks cis women are men. This guy don't know his gender's good. The horseshoe theory exists. Conservatives have fully circled around to sounding like the leftists that they make up in their head, where they're like, they can't even tell the difference between a man and a woman. Ron DeSantis said it at the Republican convention. He was like, they can't even tell what a woman is. He said that in that exact tone.
as usual, it's a preemptive projection. For the Dems always call you on stuff that they're about to do or have already done. They accuse you of election interference before they do it. They accuse you of racism before they do it.
Oh.
They accuse you of censorship
That's the
right
picture
before
they
they try to shut you up.
I like the pictures that they choose. Yeah, voting. You guys know that. They're not showing like evidence or examples. They're just showing things. It's like a picture book.
They accuse you of racism before they do
Racism.
it. They accuse you of censorship.
That's the word. Censored, free speech, we the people. Triple combo. It's everything you need to know about the Democrats. You just need a big donkey over all of it, and then there you go.
Right before they try to shut you up. And when they accuse you of being weird, you just know the party of drag queen story hour, fat activists, and feminists supporting Hamas have really something freaky up their sleeves.
He's so mad, dude. Fat activists, bro. It's not weird to just throw that out there. That alone is just so weird. It's just like baffling. Like your average voter can't even interface with that. Dude, Greg Gutfeld is sitting next to Tyrus. He's fat. What do you mean, fat activist? Tyrus is a fat activist. He just is an activist for right-wing values that happens to be fat. Many such cases, such as Donald Trump. What are we talking about? There are famously no fat conservatives, and none of them watch Greg Gutfeld. I'm pretty sure they mean body positivity people. No, I know. But that's not like a Democratic Party policy. No one's voting for anything related to that. That's not politics. That's like advertising and marketing that he has a problem with. It's like seeing fat people in a Nike commercial that makes him mad. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with politics. It's just weird. It's literally weird.
Now, Waltz is weird, but he disguises it under the costume of phony compassion, a fake politician who masks destructive ideas under the guise of empathy. At a 2017 town hall, he implied 10-year-old boys should be able to invade girls' bathrooms because it's all about safety. Quote, as a teacher, my #1 responsibility in the classroom is the safety, security, and belongingness of
You
every...
notice they already have to go to like 2017. Like he's been in power for so long in so many different forms, from Congress to governor to National Guard he was in, and then he was a teacher. Like there's he's been doing, he's 60 years old.
Every single child in that room. These are children my son's age, a 4th grader, a 10-year-old who just wants to go to the bathroom. And their identity is they are male or female, and they just go in that bathroom and use it. End quote.
Why are you talking about this? He's like, yeah, let the kid just go where they want to go. And Greg Gutfeld's like, yeah, I have something to say about this one. Yes, I do. It's the most normal statement ever. They just go in that bathroom and use it. Greg Gutfeld It's like, no, 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 no. It does not end there. I need to watch them.
Sounds so folksy, you know? Belongingness. Yeah, they'll be belonging in therapy with this guy at the helm. But who's
Okay, but like, no, actually. He's been at the helm of an entire state, and it's actually doing really well. Like right now, like currently. It's one of the most successful and happiest states. He's so mad, bro. Did they forget unisex bathrooms exist? No, they don't, actually. No, no, no. Bathrooms are the honor system. Every bathroom is gendered. It's the honor system, but Greg Gutfeld has to verify it. And if they don't believe you, even though you know better than they do, they can still question you regardless. And the only way to answer them is to show them your genitalia. But, you know, they're going to ask everything except that question. It's awesome. It's an awesome way to do discourse. It's really normal and popular, and people are going to vote really hard for this. Yep, keep doing this.
Does he rely upon for his Midwestern takes? Here's Minnesota State Rep Leigh Finke, who wants to train more children's doctors on sex change surgery and puberty blockers. He sponsored the Trans Refuge Bill, which Walt signed, which makes Minnesota a sanctuary state for such butchery.
Based.
If you promise trans refuge, then we need to increase the number of people who are offering gender-affirming care. So we have some money, hopefully.
Okay, the Republican curve, or the Republican spin on stuff like this is no matter what, gender-affirming care equals surgery. We're not talking about that. This person's not talking about that. Tim Walz is not talking about that when it comes to minors. Gender-affirming care can range from literally anything from therapy to medication to specific counseling to like so many different things. So many different things that do not include surgery. Social transitioning, puberty blockers, hormones, therapy, specifically therapy.
We can pass to help entice people to move from those states who also practice gender-affirming care. We want to do
like medical practitioners
and fellowship programs with Children's Minnesota and other places where people can learn gender-affirming care.
This is the most normal stuff ever, by the way. This is the most normal stuff ever, and Greg Gutfeld is having a tantrum about stuff he doesn't understand. And he's like, gender-affirming care, yeah, right. How about I hit him? When I was a kid, you used to punch children until they stopped misbehaving. Why can't we do that again?
He's now available for babysitting.
Don't be rude.
What?
And that's the perfect person to give advice for impressionable kids. I don't know. Strangers that want to take in runaways with perfectly good parents who don't want them sterilized, that's weird. I wouldn't send my son to St.
Sterilized? Bro. Being like, they're sterilizing the children. That's fucking weird, man. Because guess what? They're not doing that. And if they are, it's entirely voluntary and an informed decision. It's not a fucking surprise that a trans woman can't carry fucking babies in her womb. Like, what the fuck? Sterilized. Yeah, I think a trans woman understands that, you know, getting bottom surgery means that they won't carry babies. Getting their testicles removed means that they won't have sperm anymore. Like, that's sterilization. Yeah, bro really wants these kids to have kids. Because we're not talking about sterilization of kids, by the way. I'm talking about sterilization of adults. None of this happens. And even then they can save sperm. Yeah, you can save sperm, you can save eggs. Except, you know, Republicans want to make IVF illegal, which I'm sure Greg Gutfeld would have no problem with as a, you know, childless, unmarried douchebag. As a trans woman, this is a surprise to me, /J. Very normal to worry about the fertility of random children. The fuck, man?
Paul, he may come back as St. Paula. There are other weird things about Walt, of course. He fibs about his military service. He set up a snitch line to narc on citizens for not wearing masks outside. And
no one cares, idiot. No one gives an F about that. Literally, no one cares. Do you know your tattoos were permanent? Shit. You mean they're on my skin? That's crazy. Set up a snitch line. Like, no context. He just, like, that. I'm sure that is such a dishonest take of what it actually was. And like, bro, who cares? No one was like wearing masks is bad. No one who's voting is really like that, who's not just voting for Trump immediately.
He's super weird on free speech.
I think we need to push back on this.
I think he's lost weight since this, or maybe he's just older now, but he used to be a rotund Tweedledee looking motherfucker. I love a big Midwest boy.
No guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
There's no guarantee. What? I guess his class didn't cover the First Amendment. But if misinformation isn't free speech, then shouldn't he arrest himself for lying about his service? So,
yeah. Okay, so there's this stupid, unbelievable narrative. Yes, he should arrest himself. First of all, of course. If you disagree, you're literally Hitler. I mean, that's what Republicans think. You're gay Hitler. Because Hitler was, of course, a leftist and actually gay all along. Yeah, they're claiming stolen valor of an E9, which is nuts. He actually did serve for like 23 years. He never lied. It's crazy to me. 24. Served basically a quarter century. And they're like mad he didn't die in Iraq or something. He didn't step down because of the Iraq war. He stepped down so he could run for office. But he also was in opposition to the Iraq war anyway. No one should have gone and fought in that war. So conservatives being like, he didn't go and fight in Iraq is crazy. For the same reasons I criticize people for liking, for example, Pete Buttigieg, who served in Afghanistan. You shouldn't like someone who's proud of serving in Afghanistan or Iraq. Like, nuts. Crazy. I think more than ever, there's an actual political opportunity to change the narrative on America's fucking post 9/11 destruction and revenge campaign. Like, Trump ran for office on like Hillary was pro-Iraq war and we never should have been there. And he was fucking right. But now his VP pick, it was pro-Iraq war. So what the fuck are we doing? Like... I think J.D. Vance was in Afghanistan too, right? Or was he in Iraq? I don't remember. He was in one or the other. But still, he's pro both of those wars. Rare Trump W, it was just a grift. He's just as pro-war. Because pro-war is being pro-American economy. And he understands that probably better than most, at least on a more like objective level. Trump was woke. He weaponized people's frustration and understandable disillusionment with the fucking foreign policy of America. And it was a smart electoral thing to do. But I mean, Tim Walz being VP and having been anti-Iraq war is so good. Trump used to be pro-trans. Yeah, he's more pro-trans than most Republicans right now. He usually is just like, shut up about it. Like, do whatever. It should be left up to the states. I don't know. Whatever. The states should decide, which he knows means, you know, Republican Party platform across the board. Unless it's a specific blue state, which there's only a handful of, you know.
here's the deal.
Yeah, he lied about his service, and he should arrest himself. That was Greg Gutfeld's point.
My main point, Walt made himself fair game, since his only attack was that the other guy was weird. Because everyone is weird, the more you get to know them. It's why marriage is a commitment.
Okay.
Over time, both spouses realize we're all bat crazy.
Okay, we're all weird is not the defense that I expected, and not a good one. I'm gonna be honest.
But there's weird and there's dangerously insane. And that's thinking children can decide to have themselves castrated. And that's Tim Walz. His sin, among many, is that he smeared Vance for being human.
Very normal point to make about a guy who's never said that. Normal.
His accusation assumes that he's not. And once you make that claim, all bets are off. You think Vance is weird and you want to operate on healthy kids? If saying
This picture. You think Vance is weird? Look at this. He looks funny. So
cat
immature.
ladies is weird, what if you want to turn someone's son into one? So congrats, Waltz, you're a weirdo. But so are we.
Okay, this doesn't make any sense.
But so are we. But at least we don't lie about it, unlike you. But maybe that's because you're way weirder than we can even imagine. All right.
Period. Yeah. You said it, Greg. You got him.
Shannon, it's common knowledge around the building that you're a very weird person. I mean, no, I'm serious. She's a freak.
Did you hear that frantic leading clap?
But didn't
Yeah.
Waltz make a mistake
Gutfeld
by
fans in
breaking
the
the
audience.
weird seal? Like, there's no non-weird person. So it's like, once he said that, it's like, okay, we're coming after you.
Well,
And they have nothing. They have nothing. We're coming after you. You should arrest yourself for not saying that you didn't go to Iraq. We're all weird. Yeah, embracing it is not going to work. It's Gutfeld's only angle because he's weird as fuck anyway, and he can't hide it. He's creepy.
And the word you use, folksy. So this is a lot of the headlines we're seeing. He's lovable. He's like your dad next door, your grandpa, your coach. I mean,
Your dad
so
next
he's supposed to be
door.
the normie, we're told. Those are the words the kids use now.
Yes.
As you know. But when you
God.
talk about things like free speech, and because 9 of the weirdos I like to hang out with most are at the Supreme Court, and they have decided 8-1 in some really controversial cases that the most hateful, weird stuff that you would say is protected by the First Amendment because it's not rainbows and puppies and all that we have to protect. It's the most hateful stuff, but the court recognizes the Constitution protects
We
your
have to
ability to say
protect
these
that.
things out loud, and then people can judge you based on that. But here's the deal. We got to get past all of the love fest at some point. That's any new candidate gets that. But you have to get to where he is on his policy position.
She said, oh yeah, you called me weird? Well, I have free speech, and I can be as weird as I want because of the First Amendment, and you can't arrest me. Because the First Amendment protects the most horrible things you could ever say, and we have to protect that. And it's like, whoa, what have you said? Yeah, her hair is stiff like plastic. It's Fox News, man. Every woman's an amalgamation of a 1980s teacher's section of a yearbook. Blown out, bleach blonde, blue-eyed, high-functioning alcoholic. It's an archetype, very specifically targeted by Fox News and Donald Trump, by the way. A lot of his assistants meet this archetype. Almost all of his press secretaries that were women did. Didn't he have like 2 or 3 different women that all look like this? Kayleigh McEnany is only one of them.
You outlined some of them. Now, some people may love that, but they need to know what they are so they can decide how to vote.
Exactly. Now, you did cover the Supreme Court, and they are all perverts.
How do you tell that they're alcoholic? It's an educated guess in a lot of cases. Sometimes you can kind of just tell that they're drunk. But it's an educated guess based on the personality, the kind of people that I've met that match this personality that absolutely were high-functioning alcoholics and were really sneaky about hiding it, and like a coping mechanism for the kind of person that you have to be to get in front of the camera and do fucking right-wing propaganda on Fox News. Like, you have to be a very angry, very resentful, reactionary person. And in all likelihood, you don't have a lot of friends and you're not very enjoyable to be around, but you have a lot of money. And I'm not like psychoanalyzing these people. This is just like what becomes of you. It's an inevitability with like being a right-wing influencer. On some universal level, these people understand that they're like fucked up. Whether it's like karmic or like, I don't know. It's like you lose a piece of your soul being a right-winger, and it genuinely affects you. We see it all the time. And it could be just like genuine disenfranchisement from being as wealthy as you get to be being a Fox News talking head. Because it is, yeah, it's moral bankruptcy. It's all in exchange for money. It's all for the bag. But in a lot of cases, the people on these panels are paid very well. That bag is fucking productive. And right-wing media has continued to reward more and more reactionary language as time goes on. I think as a product of right-wingers discovering social media, like Twitter's a great example. Twitter amplifies right-wing messaging, and if you get a lot of impressions on your account, they give you some money. The equation is there. You don't have to think a lot. You don't even have to have that, strong of a moral compass to put those two things together. And then you could be like, Google Hassan streamer, copy paste into Twitter on your blue check account and just type in, this is the most hypocrite streamer of all time. And then you post, and then, you can pay your rent that month. That is a genuine way to get interaction on social media, is just to be like a right-wing grifter. And if you can make money doing that, the more right-wing you are, the more you appeal to like this fringe of like hyper online people, the more money you can coincidentally make. On top of the way, it's institutionally funded on like the level of Fox News. But what I'm saying is like the blue checkmark, like weirdo bozos just grifting for money, saying whatever they can for impressions, are in a large part dominating Twitter as a platform, which is increasingly becoming used by right-wingers in the media. And so that is what they're consuming. And I think in their heads, America has shifted so far right. It's like 2016. Like, liberals on MSNBC thought that the world was a lot like Twitter and everyone wanted a sweet, epic girl boss Hillary Clinton own. Right-wingers are having that exact moment right now and being like, why everyone doesn't want, like, orange boss fascism? This is awesome. We're celebrating, and you guys are ruining our fun. So we're now, we're going to attack you and call you slurs. And a big thing that's weighing them down is a lot of the, impression farm blue checkmark freaks think that, like, harassing people online in general. I mean, look at Libs of TikTok. They think that is praxis. Libs of TikTok has doxed people, random people working hourly wages at fucking Home Depot. She goes and finds their name, finds where they work, and gets them fucking fired if they post stuff she doesn't like. They think that's fucking praxis, man. They think that's like activism. Attacking and harassing and swarming people who have no real means to defend themselves. And people are fucking tired of it. It's infuriating me she hasn't been punished by the law. Yeah, Libs of TikTok's a fucking criminal. But Twitter is not fucking real life. And Twitter and its consequences of shifting so far to the right, I think, will ripple into reality because these guys have an actual effect. And their fucking narratives spinning out of control as they are huffing their own farts on social media 24/7. That's why they have no defense for being weird. They are weird. They're kind of way too online. At least Greg Gutfeld, at least the fucking writers, you can smell it. Laura Ingraham has that fucking vibe too. They have no defense for being fucking weird, because they are. Right-wing high-profile politicians are using Twitter and 4chan speech now. It's actually crazy. Yeah. I mean, the mass deportation shit is like, that's a 4chan wet dream. Crazy. It's insane that it's even like acceptable dialogue. I hope Kamala says something at the DNC about it. When she does her acceptance speech, I really hope she actually talks about the contrast between the Republican convention waving signs that said mass deportation, actually advocating for forcible relocation of, if not American citizens' families, loved ones, workers, like brave people that have made a journey and built a life here will be uprooted by a violent police state, one that we know is already out of control and unaccountable. That is a bloody future. Like, not even as a joke, an actual, like, violent future. And she has to hammer home that contrast.
Safe harbors.
No, I mean, come on,
said
they wear
weirdos,
robes.
like-
We know they're not wearing anything underneath the robes.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
No, I think I think that we've got an exclusive.
I'll get back to you on that. How about that?
Yes, Angelo, good to see you as always. I assume that you have a closet full of skeletons, and I mean literally. Ew. Not like metaphorically. You have the bodies of dead people in your little house, probably underneath the floorboards.
That's wrong, Greg. I moved out of that apartment a few weeks ago. But I will say,
Jesus Christ, dude. What does he do before this show? Is it poppers? Is it coke? Is it meth? What does he do? Like, how? What are you huffing to make you react like this? Coke would make sense with the way he's like scrunching his face, like it's like he can't feel his own muscles or some shit.
Slanderous accusation. I'm in a 2-bedroom now.
Yeah, evil spirits trying to escape his body.
As a comedian and the owner of
get out.
The largest American-made razor company, and available at westernrazor.com.
Thanks, man, for the fucking ad. Thanks for the ad for your shitty fucking American-made razors. I don't care, bitch. This guy gives Matt Walsh vibes. They all do, because they're all the same. They're all elitist, fucking college-educated, liberal creeps with, I think, narcissistic tendencies in a lot of cases that want to, like, dominate politics for their own personal grievances.
Relationship with the word weird, comes at me often.
Yes. Yes.
But it is interesting to see the pivot in the messaging, because
Don't be rude.
Democrats, liberals in general, it used to be, it's okay to be weird.
Right.
It's, hey, everyone's different. It's kind of like they did this with
now they're
body
being bigoted.
shaming.
Yeah.
It was like, don't do body shaming, don't do body shaming. And then as soon as Trump got into office, they're like, look at his orange face.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look.
He's the president. Also, they said that way before he was president. They said that as he was running for president. As if Trump looks normal. I know. This is like the same shit see, that's what's annoying. This is what annoying 14-year-old, wannabe Twitter leftists say. Like, oh, it's fat shaming when you say Trump is rotund and a big orb that eats nothing but McDonald's and well done steak with ketchup. It's fat shaming. And it's like, man, yes, technically it is. It's woke scolding. But, like, Republicans do that as a joke because they're like, yeah, that's basically what liberals do. And it's like, no, man. No actual liberal who's not a hyper online loser like me, who's actually a leftist. But, like, no actual liberal, especially not a voter, has any understanding of that kind of attitude. This is like a hypothetical, made-up, fictional dream world. This guy does look like logic. I view it as an extension of the social contract. You deserve respect and stuff when you operate within those bounds. And that's just so, like, I'm sorry, it is vibes-based. It's hard to quantify that kind of stuff. But he's in a position of ultimate power as the United States president. So, like, body shaming within certain boundaries, especially when he's as embarrassing as he is. And as evil as he is, it's context. The starting point is a point of power and a point of privilege that no one is above. Only God. How many women has he called fat? That's another part of it. He engages in fat shaming nonstop. He supports fat shaming. He's the fat shamer. He loves calling women fat. That's his favorite thing.
Get Jeff Sessions. He's a Keebler elf.
Yeah.
They get off it. They got to stick to their message.
Yeah, it's true. Because the message only works when they can point it at somebody else.
And we got to remember what the message is. WesternRazor.com for American-made razors. So important. So important.
He's a fever dream.
Yeah, I guess the transitioning of girls to boys helps your company because you get more shavers.
We have razors for everybody.
Yes.
Wait, girls to boys? Wait, are you saying women don't use razors?
Girls to boys help. Yeah, I guess the transitioning of girls to boys helps your company because you get more shavers.
Yeah, women don't use razors. What a good joke. Women never shave. They're naturally hairless, like a Sphinx cat or whatever. That's right. Greg Gutfeld knows.
We have razors for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes, everybody. Morgan, don't you find it interesting? It's like
sounds
you
like
can
DEI to me,
predict
bro.
what-
Everybody? Yeah, sounds like inclusion. That's what the I stands for in DEI, inclusion. So shut up. You're woke now. Canceled. Everyone cancel this razor company now. And then they get harassed and called pedophiles on Twitter, and they have to close their shaving company. That's how right-wingers operate, bro. That's literally how they work. This almost just happened. He dodged a bullet.
the Dems are doing by what they accuse you of. It's always that way.
Well, it's also like it's obfuscating from what we should really be talking about this election, which is actually the price of goods for people to go to the grocery store, the price of gasoline, whether you're safe in your community, or whether we're safe around the world. We just took 2 aircraft carriers out of the Pacific region, put them in CENTCOM because, our U.S. Navy ships are getting shot at, troops are getting killed in Jordan from the Iranians. Like, we are in war in almost every theater in this country, but instead, it's actually really smart what the Democrats have done.
Oh, breaking news on Gutfeld's show. We're already at war with Iran. Holy fuck. She said our American soldiers, or our Navy soldiers, are being killed by the Iranians. We're at war at every theater in this country. All fronts, every front. Like, yes, we did move aircraft carriers to surround the Middle Eastern Peninsula. It's very bad that we're doing this, by the way. It's very, very bad. But it is for the, it's to threaten other countries not to attack Israel and to help intercept countries attacking Israel, supposedly, or attempting to. But it's warmonger shit. It's very bad. But yeah, she's like, we're already at war with Iran, so we have to actually, I guess, invade now. Boots on the ground, every theater. Sorry, New Zealand, you're next. Expect tactical strikes on civilian locations.
They're not talking about war around the world. They're talking about who's weird and who's not weird. I happen to think what's really weird is getting married on Tiananmen Square with the excuse that you want to remember your anniversary, because you always want to remember the anniversary of your wedding through a massacre.
Yes. What? It's ironic that he got married in China and goes there a lot, and he's not really a great wall.
Well, you stole my joke. You stole my joke. I said this yesterday. Build the walls. Great walls. China Tim. That's next, man. Trump is watching Fox News all month instead of doing rallies. That's what he'll come back with. China Tim. He went to China 30 times. He loves China. Even though Trump says he loves China. Trump says all the time that he loves China.
I love that they applauded that.
I didn't know Tim Walz got married in Tiananmen Square.
Well,
Yeah.
No, he got married on the anniversary because he
Oh,
wanted
on the
to
anniversary. Yeah,
remember
I
his
went to
wedding anniversary.
Tiananmen Square.
What? He happened to get married on the anniversary of Tiananmen Square, and she's like, yeah, he did that on purpose because he wanted to remember.
Square.
Really?
Well, the tour guide, do you want to see Tiananmen Square? And I said, no, thanks. And, I just thought it was that,
Tyrus?
No, hold on. This is your fault. You need to write a letter to the millions and millions of people watching at home. They're like, what were they clapping? Your fault. All of it's your fault.
The great, not so great.
Not so great.
Yeah, even
You're weird,
Tyrus is
Tyrus.
like-
You're a weirdo.
No. You know what? We're all weird.
Yeah.
You look weird. It's you. Okay.
Yeah.
You flip the dictionary. It's Greg like, hi. So he's
am.
not weird at all. He's a creep.
Yeah.
Trump is famously not a creep. Guy who was friends with Epstein and, allegedly raped two 12-year-olds on Epstein's island. Not a creep, according to Tyrus. Tim Walz is a creep, according to Tyrus. Did he flick his tongue like a snake? Did he?
Greg like, hi.
I didn't like that at all.
He looks like
He is like a snake.
He's not weird at all. He's a creep.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being weird and creepy. And you can be weird all day long. Everyone wants to say, hey, it even sounds good. Hey, let's get weird this weekend. So, hey, let's get creepy this weekend. You don't get the same, oh, no cheer.
Weird.
Puppets. Pure puppets. But, yeah.
What's going on?
What bothers me the most is the stuff that we're, like the fake valor is bad enough, but
yeah, fake valor. They can't even say stolen valor because it's not. It's not at all. He earned all the ranks that he got, so it's fake valor.
when you have fake butter churning, sculpting valor, where do you go from there?
Yeah, they gotta fix the gas leak in the Gutfeld studio. Did they have mold on their walls behind all this fake paneling, like J.K. Rowling?
Turns out he never did that.
He did?
He was just by it in like an Iowa thing. So I got people from the Midwest because I've actually been there.
Yeah.
I went to school there and I got people going, this dude ain't legit butter. He's not legit butter.
So he's not
just
really
had
a butter
fair.
carver?
No,
Wait,
there's no
Tyrus,
evidence.
I cannot believe it's not butter.
No, it's not. When you have fake butter churning, sculpting valor, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Turns out he never did that.
Wait, he's saying fake butter churning, sculpting, butter. He said butter churning, sculpting valor.
Fake butter churning, sculpting valor. Where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Turns out he never did that.
He did?
He was just by it in like an Iowa thing.
What?
So I got people from the Midwest because I've actually been there.
Yeah.
I went to school there and I got people going, this dude ain't legit butter. He's not legit butter.
So he's not
just
really
had
a butter
affair.
carver?
No,
Wait,
there's no
Tyrus,
evidence.
I cannot believe it's not butter.
No, it's not.
They gotta turn off Greg's mic when he laughs. It's the loudest thing in the room. The gas leak has fucking derailed the entire show. But luckily, we brought it back home.
Every one of you that asked for a picture after the show.
Oh, we got to move on. That was fun, though. I have to
Yes,
say.
it was. It was
Weird.
regular,
is
sharp
good.
as a razor over there, bro. Just sharp as a razor.
Tyrus is mad because he fucked up everything he said. And then he fucking made a terrible joke and he took the whole spotlight. Stole his thunder. Made the audience clap by going, I can't believe it's not butter. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? He was saying Tim Walz actually didn't carve a butter statue. Not that it was fake butter. He just couldn't get his sentence out good. Oh, God. White demons, man. This whole Gutfeld episode was a fucking train wreck. What happened? They stole his value.
It'd be great if he really didn't sell razors at all. It was all. He just sells hats that say that.
Yeah.
Up next, Nancy finally explains why she took Joe's reins.
Greg Gutfeld loves a good rhyme. He loves rhyming. If you rhyme, it's funny. Not the value. The Fox News and the right-wing media machine is just like melting down at trying to comprehend Tim Walz in general. So they're really just flailing. It's kind of embarrassing. It's very embarrassing, actually. It's not just Tim Walz, though, but it started with Kamala Harris. They couldn't combat anything from her. But right-wingers have a hard time proving that they're normal in general, and I think they're getting really weird with it on purpose to, like, push their not weird agenda. Gutfeld says this is indefensible. I'm sure it's something actually really normal. I'm sure it's going to be normal. Everything will be normal. More Gutfeld. I'm so excited for him to be normal.
Yeah. Raucous,
Oof,
raucous.
I don't know what you're expecting. Oh boy. Happy Thursday, everyone. It's now been 18 days since Kamala Harris became the Democrat nominee, but she still hasn't held a press conference. Why is she ducking the media? Staffers blame some of the delay.
This is that other narrative I was talking about, acting like she's ducking interviews or something. Like, why isn't she talking to the media? Talk to it to the media. Come on. She can't answer questions. It's like they're all going to look so stupid, and they're going to have another, like, back against the wall moment, run out of talking points when she actually does a sit-down interview, which I think is soon, probably before the end of the month, if not before the debate for sure. It's just a matter of time before this talking point just expires. It's stalling for time, talking point.
The fact that English
Filler.
is her second language.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Meanwhile, Kamala's VP, Tim Walz, is being accused of lying about his rank, which is called stolen valor.
Hell
but
yeah,
in Walz's
dude.
defense,
This is all they have.
in Minneapolis, stealing is legal.
Yeah, dude. 4 years ago, do you remember that? 4 years ago, this happened. Do you remember?
But misrepresenting your past for political gain? I don't see that as a problem, said one woman.
What?
But even CNN, a reporter delivered a devastating fact check on Walz's claims
Notice
about
how that picture was not a real picture and instead a photoshopped image.
military service. And you know what
Love
they
that.
say? When you've lost CNN, thank your cable provider. Meanwhile, Harris has added Walz to her website, but still hasn't added a single policy. In her defense, she thinks a website is where spiders meet for sex. But she did at least post her new campaign slogan.
Yeah, man. Kamala Harris doesn't know what website is. She doesn't actually know.
That's
I thought my audio had a problem, but it was actually just how silent the audience was as a result of Greg Gutfeld's failed joke. That was crazy. Dude.
slogan. But she did at least post her new campaign slogan.
You're flicked? Oh, only real sex havers will get that one. You're
I spent 24 years in the National Guard, some of that full time. I was an artilleryman. I deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. My battalion provided base security throughout the European theater from Turkey to England in the early stages of the war in Afghanistan. And that same battalion is now in Iraq at this time.
Now, it sounds like he was a lot closer to the battlefield than he actually might be. He wasn't.
Well, yeah, if you don't listen to it, well, it sounds like you're closer than you actually were, but that's not what he fucking said. That's insane.
In fact, deployed to a base in Italy. He wasn't taking live fire in Operation Enduring Freedom. It was more like Operation Enduring Pasta.
He said from Turkey to England, and he's like, well, he didn't say Italy. Yeah, what the fuck is in the middle of those two things, you idiot? Enduring pasta. Enjoying freedom.
And in 2009, a local veteran went to his Minnesota office and asked the staffer if it's possible to mistakenly assume that he served in Afghanistan based on his website bio. And the staffer said, perhaps. So the vet suggests, hey, maybe you should change it.
The staffer said, perhaps. This is a definitely real story.
to say that Waltz served in Italy instead, but Waltz's office did nothing. Though they did offer the vet a case of military-grade tampons.
Wow.
Then there's the two fellow
They'll be up
National
there.
Guardsmen who said in 2022 that Waltz reached the rank of Command Sergeant Major but didn't complete the coursework to maintain that rank before he retired at a lower rank, which the Minnesota National Guard confirmed. Yet even on his own website, he still calls himself Command Sergeant Major. Apparently his resume has more padding than Joy Behar's toilet seat.
His resume has more padding. It's one word, bro. No one cares.
So, did he lie
From
about
old
his rank to
websites and
fuel his
shit.
political aspirations just as he managed to avoid a war? Does it matter? When your job is to lead young men in battle, but your desire to dine with Barack and Michelle matters more, you probably had no business leading anyone to begin
Bro, he
with.
was the chairman of the Veteran Affairs Committee in Congress. That's such bullshit. That's ridiculous. You can't be like, well, he just wanted to have a dinner with Barack and Michelle, like every congressperson gets to do. Like, what the fuck? He's serving in the House of Representatives, not the Senate.
And yet the Harris campaign just posted this video of Waltz
Barack
talking
Hussein
about how
Obama.
the weapons he carried
Michelle
in war
Hussein
shouldn't be
Obama.
allowed anywhere but the battlefield.
I spent 25 years in the Army, and I hunt. And I gave the money back, and I'll tell you what I have been doing. I've been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment, but we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states, and we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Next, he'll tell us he used his bayonet to do butter carving. But if Tim Waltz said we should...
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. How? He's so unfunny. Did he get turned down by every woman on The View? He hates them and unsettling him out. I think it's because he doesn't have like a real job. So all he does during the day is have daytime TV on, and he always sees Joy Behar and shit.
We should ban the very weapons he carried in
How
war.
are you this bad on your own
And he-
show? I know, dude. It's like a bit in and of itself. So bad.
He
They
didn't
just don't get
carry
it.
any weapons.
They just don't get it.
Doesn't
Nope.
that mean we can keep all of our weapons? Great. I want an Abrams tank.
I don't think Greg Gutfeld owns any weapons personally, and he shouldn't. He should not have, in an ideal world, he would be denied his application for a license to purchase and own a firearm. And if he had one, his yearly exam that he has to take to maintain that firearm in this ideal world would prove him eventually incapable of owning a weapon. That's my dream world, due to mental instability.
Again, he's never been to a war zone unless you count his state during the George Floyd riots. In reality, when his unit got called for deployment to
Owned.
Iraq after he'd been appointed to acting senior enlisted leader, he bailed to run for Congress. But now even CNN is calling him out.
Waltz did make a comment, speaking to a group, he's done it a couple of times, where he has used language that has suggested that he carried weapons in a fighting situation. There is a difference between being in a combat area, being involved at a time of war, and actually being in a position where people are shooting at you. There is no evidence that at any time Governor Waltz was in a position of being
I knew
shot
it,
at.
by the way.
And some
This
of his
is awesome.
language could easily be seen to suggest that he was. So that is absolutely false.
Holy that's CNN. I know. Wow.
Wait, what?
Who did Waltz piss off? Did he steal one of Jake Tapper's copies of Jugs magazine?
I remember those.
Meanwhile, listen to
Ew. What?
Minnesota Senator Tina Smith comparing Waltz to J.D. Vance.
Well, here is Tim Walz, who enlisted when he was 17 years old. He served in the National Guard for 24 years, and I'm not aware of any military service that J.D. Vance has ever served. So let's just make the comparison there.
Let's not, Tina.
Yeah, he
First,
was in
you're-
Afghanistan. Yeah, he hit the waltz.
Leaving out the main point, no one is accusing Vance of lying. And it's kind of hard
It's
to
a
believe you're
sign.
not aware of any military service Vance served. What else are you not aware of? That you stole John Denver's haircut? Woo, crazy. fact is, lies like this got Brian Williams demoted, and the closest he came to combat was being near Matt Lauer's office.
Trump literally just lied recently about like going down in a helicopter, which is similar to what Brian Williams was fired for lying about. But whatever, we don't have to talk about anything he said because he's fucking hiding from the media right now. Ironically, he did one fucking presser and then he's like, Kamala's hiding from the media, and then he's like, I'm not doing any rallies for a month. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. Maybe he'll do some. They ain't scheduled.
But apparently the new tactic here is to muddy the waters, right, Nance?
J.D. Vance has criticized him as never having been in combat. And,
Has he?
And
Has he?
Well,
Has J.D. Vance been in combat?
well, I think he was over in Iraq, I think.
I think. Wow, these are some journalists. Now, Nance, JD never said he was
People
in
watch this for real? Yeah, man. A lot of people watch Gutfeld. He's like the #1. He more so than Laura Ingraham. Definitely filled in Tucker's spot, but doesn't have the same reach for obvious reasons.
combat, unlike Waltz, which you would have clearly heard if your last facelift hadn't blocked your ears. The honest take, though, comes from Mayor Pete, who wrote, quote, denigrating a soldier's service based on whether he deployed to a war zone is kind of like denigrating a woman's citizenship based on whether she happens to have children.
Which is what J.D. Vance did.
So
I guess he's just going to pretend like he doesn't know about that.
2 months of paternity leave makes him an expert on childbirth. This is the worst analogy ever. A non-deployed soldier is like a childless woman. Maybe if the childless woman tells...
No, it's about the denigration. It's not... He's so dishonest. He's like, well, you're comparing, you're saying they're the same kind of person? It's like, no. It's the attitude of the... Whatever.
Tells people if she has kids to get benefits. Boom. Yeah. Mayor Pete manages to derail trains.
He looks like he would play like an evil guy in a movie.
Trains and conversations. So it seems the Dems only fight when it's political. Then they circle the wagons. The problem is what they're defending for many Americans is indefensible. You can lie about stolen valor, but you can't make veterans forget about it. Let's look at tonight's guest.
Yeah, Gutfeld does air kind of late because it's considered like a late night show, and there are definitely a lot of people that just leave it on after watching their Fox News for the day.
Gets cold feet. Fox News contributor Johnny Joey Jones. She was the cute one on
Oh my
MTV.
god, dude. I hate the Hunger Games comparisons when they talk about like the Met Gala and shit, because Republicans dress like the Hunger Games every fucking regular day. It's the fucking clashing colors and the insane patterns and the nonsensical makeup.
Host of Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy. He's destroyed more snowflakes than rock salt, comedian Lou Perez.
Who?
And his ear canal is bigger than the Erie Canal.
You just like didn't say anything. You just gibberish.
Joey, help guide this conversation in the right place, because I know that a lot, like if people aren't aware of stolen valor, or they're not in the military, they can be understandably ambivalent about these details. Because the thing that I hear is
stolen valor is the worst fucking story, dude.
20
It's such a non-story. It's crazy.
4 years in the National Guard. I mean, you didn't do that. Isn't that good enough? But that isn't the point, because people who do stolen valor are in the military for the most part.
Yeah, so here's what's funny about this. Nobody's denigrating him for not going to combat.
Yeah.
They didn't just say one day, you know what, you were in the military, but you didn't go to combat, so it doesn't count. He said he went to combat. They're mad at him or pointing out that he denigrated his own service by in his own words,
dude,
serving 24 years in the National Guard wasn't enough. He had to go and...
It's not a story and it's not real. It's so dumb. Critics accuse Walls of embellishing military career. Wow.
lie and say the weapon I carried in war, or to leave it just open enough that somebody can infer that his deployment in support of Operation Enduring Freedom would have been in Afghanistan, where most people who deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom went. And so he's done this. He's used this as an opportunity to get folks to support him, to get veterans to believe he went to combat and served in war.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's a weak angle. It's a really weak angle of attack. No one cares. They're not talking about policy right now. They're spending all this time talking about like specific military rank and military jargon that is literally, quite literally, more confusing than pronouns. I'm not even joking. It is way more confusing. People know more about pronouns. Your average guy knows more about pronouns than he does military ranks. So this is stupid and needless. But it is filler because they don't have anything else. They don't.
Member of a VFW, right? You didn't go to
all the straws that they're grasping on. Eventually, they'll hit something they think works, and they'll use that as a branch to the next, next point in the media cycle that they can like carry over all the talking points to. But until then, we're just waiting for them to move on. But they just really like the Stolen Valor story and tampons. That's it. That's all they have on Tim Walz.
He may can, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so the idea here is that he has chosen to define his service based on whether or not he went to war by making it a point to lie about going to war. I don't want any veteran to go to war. I appreciate my buddies that didn't have to. There are only a few of them. Because if you serve for 24 years, for him, for half a dozen while we were at war, you have to work hard not to go to war. So that's a different subject. And then the rest of this about he left his unit before they deployed. Listen, I don't know if he had fear of death or fear of missing out, but he chose to go run for Congress. Good on him. His unit will never forget it. There's half a dozen of them that are talking about it. When you're in a position of leadership, when the word command is in your title, you have an added responsibility to not just do the right things, but show others what the right things are. And the right things are not pulling up chalks and leaving.
Mm-hmm. All right. Kennedy, I did some research on you. Turns out that you have been to an Army-Navy game.
That's right. That's right, Greg.
Do you think it was fair of you to extrapolate that into telling people you were a Navy SEAL?
It felt like it, Greg, because it was raining.
Yes.
And so there were waterworks. There was a lot of circumnavigation of the parking lot.
Yes.
I had to use my powers of deductive reasoning to figure out where to get a White Claw within the stadium. And, frankly,
they got to turn off Greg's microphone. Why did they just leave his microphone on? It's nasty. He's like choking and dying in the background.
November 11th, is it the 7th or 11th? I throw myself a little bit of a party because, thank you, the 11th, because I frankly deserve it.
Yes.
And I'm more brave than Tim Walz, and I'm surprised that Kamala Harris didn't pick me.
Yeah. Do you think? Can you get angry about this?
I can get angry about this.
Okay.
I can do whatever you need me to. I mean, it's like a casting session.
No, I mean, like
get going, Greg. There goes.
This is also going to majorly alienate all the right-wing vets that didn't go to war. I don't know about that. If you're a right-wing vet, you're a right-wing vet. But it goes to show that they don't really care about the military and are just like using whatever they can. And the collateral damage might be that like some vets start seeing this for like what it is just like a fucking propaganda moment. But I don't know, it's I don't think it like lasts with people. It's just it's filler. It's filler.
Their freedoms. Yes, you can, because I happen to be, my domestic partner is a combat veteran, and combat sucks. And it's not like...
Politico announced that Donald J. Trump's political campaign has been hacked. Earlier this morning, representatives from Trump's political campaign confirmed that their internal documents have been compromised and exfiltrated. The TLDR is that Trump's team was a victim of suspected Iranian state-sponsored threat actors with the intent of interfering with the United States 2024 election. They successfully compromised the Trump campaign staffers by performing an SP cutoff. Hacked by Iran. Okay. That's the new story? All right. Hell yeah, let's go. Trump campaign said it has been hacked. That's awesome. W Iran. Yep, that's basically it. Have a great night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks, motherfucker. Okay.